cuando los guerreros se sentían amenazados. Acudían al ritual para pedir prosperidad a cambio de sangre humana. Ríos de sangre se derramaron para complacer a los dioses. México. El terror está aquí. Y ahora.
Alright, there you got the trailer for Mexico Barbaro. Now what this is a bunch of directors in Mexico got together and each made a small short horror film. The films are roughly 10 minutes or so in length, and the end result is this film, a total of 8 different horror shorts that you can watch. So let's talk about them a little bit. One of the things I want to mention before we go into that, though, understand that you got directors each doing their own little piece and putting it out there. There's going to be a lot of artsy fartsy type scenes in this. For example, like, oh, here is the time lapse of the creepy tree with the sun going across the horizon for 30 seconds. Expect that kind of stuff. So that said, I want to give you a quick little, well, at least my review of the 8 individual short films that compose this feature. The first one is called Zompan. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. This is basically about a journalist who is doing a story on a Mexican blood ritual, and he comes face to face with one of the guys that actually committed the murder. And it kind of seems like it's a weird choice to kick off this whole film, but it discusses the horror-filled nature of Mexico, especially everything that's going on down there. But the problem with this film is it almost made me click and turn the whole damn thing off. What saved it was the remote was way the fuck over there, and I couldn't bring myself to get up to get to it, and so I hung in there for the next film, which caught my attention. So first one, you've already seen the best part. The heads that were skewered. That's it. Not a lot there, not a lot of story. It's definitely the weakest, the suckiest one we're going to put right at the beginning. So if nothing else, feel assured that the worst one is done. You got past it. Or just fast forward, 10 minutes or so into film. Then we get to film number 2. This was actually one of my possible favorites for number 1. And the name of the film is Drina del Barrios. Again, I'm probably going to be slaughtering the Spanish. But this is actually, the title is based off of an actual location that was once an 18th century grand hacienda. And this thing is massive. It's in ruins. In fact, my understanding is you can still go there today, and at your own risk you can explore and stuff. So this story is a Western, and that's what caught my attention. It's following 2 bank robbers, one which is mortally wounded, as they try to escape with their loot. The segment takes an unexpected turn into a gruesome supernatural erotica and miraculously manages to fit almost into this dreamlike fashion of spaghetti western setting, ghost story kind of aesthetic kind of a deal. And as such, it mingles well. I mean, I really like the feel of the film. Now again, there's these artsy elements in this thing, but I really like seeing the location so much I didn't mind it. Now let's talk about the erotica part, because this ghost is unlike any other ghost that I've seen in any other films. For example, now, and this is kind of be a spoiler, but it's a reason for you to bother to watch the film. So she appears as this very beautiful woman, and the last surviving outlaw sees this beautiful woman, and I gotta have her. Despite the fact that, okay, all this weird shit's been happening up to that point, doesn't matter, woman, I gotta have her. So he strips her clothes off and starts going down on her, okay? So the camera's going down from his head between her legs up to her face, back down to his head between her legs, back up to her face, and then the gore starts coming down. A little bit of blood coming down on the side of her face. Back down to him, coming up, more blood, and you're like, oh dude, get out of there, bro, run, get the fuck out. Too late. Goes back down to his head, and you can tell she's pushing with her thighs now, like holding him down in there. And, of course, you know, the blood keeps coming out and all that. And finally, he kind of gets loose, and when he comes up, like, blood comes out of his mouth. Like, God, it's got to be nasty. I was thinking to myself, you know, I've seen a lot of ghost movies. I've never seen one where the ghost tries to kill you in that particular fashion. But still, this is kind of an interesting film. Kept my attention, so I stayed on, and we went on to the third movie. Just as strange. This one was called Drina, and it's, I guess you can call it an artsy piece that finds a teenage girl that's being forced to perform a sex act on her older sister in order to save herself from the wrath of a truly horrifying villain. This film, okay, she's walking along and she finds basically an open grave, and there's a corpse down in the bottom of this thing, and this guy is holding either a cigarette or a joint in his fingers, you know, so it's like that. So she crawls down there and gets this thing out and takes it back to the house. Well, once she's in, you know, her room and in bed, she fires this thing up, and this, I don't know what the hell you want to call it, ghost, demon, whatever the fuck it is, shows up and tells her, you must collect the blood from your sister's vagina within 12 hours, or I'm going to come back and I want to suck your soul out of your anus. Yeah, I'm serious, that's what it said. Ass ghosts. Like Mexican ass ghosts. Ass ghosts are a pain in the ass. And that's what she does. She waits till her sister falls asleep, goes in there, takes off the miniskirt, because we all know women fall asleep with their miniskirts on. Takes that off, takes off the panties, gets a bowl, collects the blood. It doesn't show this in detail, fortunately. And then there's, in the process of trying to carry this back, when she trips, falls, and of course the blood splashes all over her. A little bit of a carry moment there. And of course that means, well, there's going to be some butt sucking later because she failed. She didn't get the blood of the phantom thing. The problem I had with this one was actually when the sister woke up. Because she went to bed. It's like, okay, fell asleep. I was dressed from the waist down. Woke up. Oh, let's put on my panties, my little skirt, and I'm going to go out and walk in the hallway. I expected a reaction from her, and I didn't get it. And I thought, that's fucked up. I mean, there should have been a reaction. What the fuck happened to my panties, you know? Why am I naked? So that was a little disappointing. Second, what happened to the blood that she spilled all over the bloody hallway? Literally. She cleaned it up because the girl doesn't seem to notice. And she opens the door and, well, ass suckage apparently is happening, I think. Watch the film and put down the comments what you think the fuck is happening in that scene after that, because I haven't figured out something under the covers and shit's bouncing around and I don't know. Feel free. Now, let's get into film number 4. I'm not even going to try, well, I want to try to do the Spanish. La Costa Mas Preciada. Means the precious thing in English. This is kind of one of my favorites. Definitely in the running for number 1. This is a story, it's kind of a different take on the cabin in the woods horror tale. It also has one of the most disgusting, slimiest rape scenes I've ever seen. Gruesome at times, frankly gross creatures and a very strange twist. It has a lot of, I don't know, it's just bloody weird. Let me kind of give you some examples of what I'm talking about. So the creature, pretty good job they did on it. Despite with the budget constraints and all, it's not CGI, it's actual makeup and all that, so that's cool. So this guy is basically taking this girl up to these cabins for pretty much the purpose of having sex. We find out that she's a virgin. And reminiscent of Friday the 13th with the gardener, don't go up there. Well, they got the Mexican version. They don't leave anything outside, they'll steal your shoes. You leave anything out, they're going to take it. Kind of a pain in the ass to the guy, because every time he's striking, rounding second base, going into third. Hey, you left your shit outside. I told you they're going to take it. So a little bit of humor there. So finally, the girl looks outside. She thinks she sees a boy. So the guy, the boyfriend's like, "Oh, go get him!" And goes running outside. Well, of course, the door's going to shut and lock. Where this creature, I don't know if it's an imp, goblin, whatever the fuck it is, crawls in the window. Goes underneath the bed. She's on the bed. It's under the bed. I can't get and unlock the door. The guy's like, "Open the door, bitch. I'm trying to get in." Well, the creature comes out from under the bed, somehow getting a rope. I guess Mexican ghouls carry rope for this purpose, but he ties her up and starts to rape her. The boyfriend's still outside banging on the door, trying to knock the door down. And you're like, dude, just fucking go around to the fucking window that the goblin or whatever the fuck it was jumped in. No, he doesn't do that. He's still banging on the door. Goblin has plenty of time to have a little bit of fun. And then, as the boyfriend seems like he's about to break through the doorway, he pukes this stuff all over the girl, all over her face. I don't know if what the hell this is, if it's some kind of a knockout, vomit, superpower thing, but that's the effect it has. It knocks her unconscious. She's still tied up. He drags her out of the cabin and into the woods. Boyfriend gets through, she's gone. He goes run off the woods looking for her. Now this is where it gets really fucking creepy. So he drags her to this place, and there's, I guess it's just like a little clearing in the woods. There's lots of shit there, the shit that the goblins have stolen, and their little hoard of stuff. And they're here specifically to steal this girl's virginity. Go figure, this is what they do. They steal shit. And we find out there's more than one. So, the girl's getting raped. Something pops up on screen and you're like, is that goblin schlong I just saw? No, they wouldn't show that. It pops up again. Yep, it's his freaking junk, goblin junk, smacking this girl in the face. You're like, whoa, I really don't need to see that. But as it continues, it gets worse, because there's one scene where you're seeing the back of the girl and the goblin's in front doing his thing, so you know what he's up to. But in the background, you see the other two. And it's like they're sitting there, they're dancing in the background. It goes back to her, she's gagged with a rope so she can't scream. Goes back to them, and there's another one. He's like, oh, dude, come on, hurry the hell up. It's my turn, Which is just a strange little twist that happens in that part of the film. And then it has a very bizarre ending afterwards. Of course, with the girl getting knocked up. So, very B-rated horror movie. The only thing I didn't like about this one is they did this old film style effect, with the pieces of dirt or whatever floating through on the screen. Didn't like that very much, but it was probably one of the most enjoyable ones, really didn't need to see the goblin penis. Could have lived without that. Well, let's moving on down the road. We got the next one. Hate to tell you, but they don't get much better after this. So after you've seen the goblin one, the goblin rape thing, they kind of go downhill. Just depends on your taste, though. But I'll tell you about the other ones anyway. The next one is entitled What Matters Is on the Inside. This is a boogeyman kind of story. It's shot more at parents. And it's basically, it's a, I usually say it's a boogeyman, homeless looking dude who is basically taking children, abducting them. He kills them, harvests their organs, eats some of the organs, and then has sex with the corpse. And of course the children are missing after that. which is kind of weird because that's kind of that in our sick fucking world that could be actually happening, and that's kind of the weirdest part to this. A little bit of gore in this one, of course, so on it. Actor portraying the boogeyman is pretty good. Worth watching. I mean, it's like I said, it's a 10-minute short, but it has more of that freak out factor, and like that could really be freaking happening right there, you know. So it's there. Film after that one. It's called Dolls. This is a black and white thing. It takes place in the swamp on a place called the Island of the Dolls. Very little dialogue. Most of the creepiness is just the environment and the way that it's being shot. Let me tell you about the dialogue here. The dialogue, one line. It's at the end of the movie, or the end of the short. Welcome to the Island of the Dolls. That's it. That's a whole one line. So one girl trying to get away from this guy. He catches her. She gets the upper hand, knocks him out. It looks like she's trying to push him into the river. Stalls. I'm assuming because she's hurt. And she looks again. This guy is somehow, you know, Jason Voorhees style, has gotten up and, you know, knocks her out, drags her back to this cabin where other people are locked in a cage. And we see this guy taking human body parts, throwing it into a pot with some herbs, and boiling it. And that's pretty much it. Like, what the fuck is the story? It doesn't really explain. This could be, you know, what's up with all the dolls? Because there's dolls all over the fucking place. They're in the trees, they're tied to buildings, and there's doll parts with the human remains that he's mixing together with, you know, different plants and things. So I'm thinking, okay, well, it's like a brouhaha, and he's turning people into these dolls and then hanging them up. What the fuck's going on? I don't know. There you go. That's that one. Next, 7x7. This is a bizarre take on the zombie genre. It uses more of a voodoo-like approach. It's set in a barren desert landscape. There's a surrealist tone to the segment. Also, the effects are more practical, realistic, and they kind of draw you into it. This one, it's not bad. You have to watch the whole thing to get the concept of the plot to it. It starts with a guy breaking into a crypt, stealing a body, takes it out to this deserted area in the desert where this lake is, and does this little voodoo ritual to animate the corpse. Now he buries this corpse up to its neck so it can't really do anything. And we see him feeding this corpse zombie thing his blood, you know, several times until it becomes human again. Once it becomes human, we learn the identity. This was actually his brother. His brother killed this, you know, his family and torched him and tried to kill him. Somehow he survived. Anyway, so he's basically reviving this guy so he can kill him again. Turn him back into a zombie, bring him back to human again, kill him again. And that's it. That's the whole plot of that one. Didn't like it as much. It kind of got old. The effects were okay. Yeah, it just kind of... It's that whole, like, what the fuck's going on? And you got to go through the whole thing to figure out what's going on. Just didn't like it as much. Alright. Finally, the last one is the Day of the Dead. And this is basically, we got a whole bunch of tourists that venture into a Sugar Skull strip club. And, you know, it's an exploitation style. You know, the strippers are going to kill the guys. It's highly predictable. Dusk till dawn type of a scenario, except they're not vampires, they're just regular strippers. Effects were kind of lame a little bit, but strippers were cool. I mean, I like the whole Day of the Dead makeup with the stripping. That was something different, never seen that before. But yeah, like I said, once you get past the goblin penis, you're done. Okay, but there you go. The film is worth watching. What makes this film interesting is the fact that it's based upon the fears of a different culture, those in Mexico. And it's interesting to kind of see that and get a different perspective of what do they think is scary compared to what us here in America are perceiving as scary. So I would recommend watching it till at least, you know, the third or fourth film, and then give up after that. Unless you're really a hardcore. Maybe, who knows, maybe you might like one of the others, but for me, that was it. So that's going to be it for this review. We'll see you guys in the next video. Please like, subscribe, do something down there. You got a question, got something I want me to check out, review, put that down there. Anything like that's appreciated. And we'll see you guys in the next video.